welcome to Newsroom series on Channels Television. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the program. We begin with our top stories. A federal high court in Abuja on Monday dismissed a suit by the impeached Deputy Governor of Edo, Philip Shaibu, seeking to nullify the February 22 governorship primary of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, which produced Asuego Dalo as its candidate. Justice James Omotosho, in a judgment, held that Mr. Shaibu lacked the local standard legal right to challenge the outcome of that primary on the grounds that he did not fully participate in the primary. Justice Omotosho also held that the impeached deputy governor was not equally present at the venue of the primary the day it was held. And to more legal matters, the Kogi Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has dismissed the petition of the Kogi State Social Democratic Party governorship candidate, Murtala Ajaka, challenging the victory of Governor Usman Ododo. The petition was filed in the wake of the off-cycle election, which was held on November the 11th, 2023. Mr. Ajaka and the SDP contested the outcome, citing irregularities and seeking to overturn the results. And the Bayelsa State Governorship Candidate Election Petition Tribunal has affirmed the re-election of Governor Doyediri of Bayelsa State. The three-man panel, led by Justice Adekunle Adeleye, dismissed the petition brought by All Progressives Congress, the APC, and its candidate, Timipre Silva. In its unanimous decision, the tribunal held that the petitioners failed to adduce any credible evidence to substantiate any of these allegations they raised against the outcome of the Bayelsa State governorship poll. And away from politics, it's Children's Day, an international holiday celebrated on different days by countries around the world. Well, it was first established in Nigeria in 1964. The date it is celebrated varies between different countries. The day marks a celebration of children, raising awareness for issues that affect children and helping us appreciate that they are the future of the society. While it's not a public holiday in Nigeria and business stays open, children are in many cases giving one day off school to celebrate Children's Day with their families. It's an event observed and celebrated by people and organizations across the country. Well, as the country marks Children's Day, President Bola Tinubu is celebrating Nigeria's children, who he describes as the bearers of the nation's torch into the future. According to the statement signed by the special advisor to the president, Ajuri Ngelale, the president rejoiced with parents, guardians, and families across the nation and called for a reinforcement of family units as a place where the sacred values of honesty, modesty, hard work, and charity are all passed down to the shining lights of tomorrow. He reassured the nation of his commitment to ensuring a safe and secure ambience of learning for the children while improving the standard of education in the country. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu celebrated Children's Day with school pupils and students at the banquet hall of the State House in Abuja. The event also coincides with the First Lady's series of engagements with various groups to commemorate President Bola Tinubu's 1 year in office. The children were drawn from 16 primary and secondary schools across the Federal Capital Territory. Mrs. Tinubu also announced the reintroduction of Young Farmers Club in the state-owned primary and secondary schools across Nigeria as part of efforts to encourage farming among the young population. She says that each child will have a garden in their school, which they will nurture. Awards will be presented to the school with the best farm. Let's turn our attention to the southwestern part of the country on today's edition of Newsroom series. And we begin in Oyo State, where the government says that all is now set to commence the rehabilitation of primary and secondary school facilities across the state. The executive chairman, Oyo State Universal Basic Education Board, Mr. Nurendi Adeniro, told journalists that Governor Seyi Makinde has approved that the outstanding counterpart fund from Oyo State be paid to allow a seamless infrastructure upgrade for schools across the state. Adding to this, the World Bank is supporting the state for the for at least 120 schools across the 33 local government areas. He also added that he has ordered the recruitments of 7,000 teachers into primary and secondary schools in the state as part of efforts to reposition education towards excellence.
The Oyo State government has approved the payment of the counterpart fund for matching grants for Oyo State intervention program for year 2022 and year 2023, which are outstanding. The money will be released to the board any month from now, which will be matched up by the UBEC for us to carry out innovation and construction of some of our schools. The governor himself has decided to put in a huge sum amount of money to be used as a special intervention, aside from the SUBEC, aside from that, to also fix our schools, both public primary and public secondary schools. So all these are ongoing. That will be manifesting, will be seen there. Very soon you see that schools will just be sprinting up here and there across the state.
And as controversy rages between the government and labor unions across the country over a new minimum wage, the Trade Union Congress in the southwestern part is asking that the federal government urgently addresses the depreciation of the naira and its debilitating consequences on Nigerians. While speaking during a summit in Ibadan, the state capital, the president of the TUC, Mr. Festus Osifo, noted that the spiraling inflation indices will continue to impact negatively on the living standards of the people if it continues unchecked.
There have been a series of negotiations and renegotiations between the federal government and Labour in recent weeks over a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers due to the current economic realities following the introduction of new government policies. Just last week, Labour rejected the federal government's proposal of 54,000 naira as new minimum wage, arguing that it's a ludicrous proposal that cannot help Nigerians to cope.
Some live on minimum wage, some live slightly above minimum wage, some earn much more than minimum wage. But at the end of the day, the value of this money has completely eroded. And government must do everything possible to ensure that our economy is better managed.
Addressing the union leadership across the southwest at the summit, the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, represented by his deputy, says his government will work with whatever agreement is reached eventually. Some of the civil society groups present argue that the government might not take the minimum wage matter seriously unless it faces serious industrial actions by Labour.
Workers will never win the struggle for a living wage, which Mr. President promised, unless they organize and back up the negotiations with formidable strike actions.
On Labour's recent proposal of 497,000 naira, the TUC notes that the higher figure is necessary for the purpose of negotiations.
Because I alone will not be able to say if we will remove 1 kobo from the 497,000 naira again. But it depends on the next meeting we are to have on Tuesday, where the Labour, we are 12 representatives from Labour, 12 from the organized private sector, and 12 from government. So where we'll sit down, we'll have that robust conversations once more to try and reach an amicable position so that Nigerians will have, for us, not just a minimum wage, but a living wage.
The two-day summit also explored the possibility of ensuring the contributory pension scheme targets empowering workers in retirement, among other key issues of national importance.
And in Ogun State, the government has disbursed over 300 million naira to about 2,832 beneficiaries from 20 local government areas of the state in the second phase of the COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program tagged Ogun Cares. Flagging off that disbursement plan to small and medium-scale entrepreneurs at the Obas complex in Abuja, the state capital, the state deputy governor, Naimot Salako Oyedele, who represented the state governor, Dapo Abiodun, said about 4,000 small and medium-scale entrepreneurs have all benefited so far from this initiative. She, however, asks beneficiaries to make good use of the grant to grow their businesses.
It was the second phase of the Ogun State COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program under the Ogun Cares initiative, which is targeted at social protection, agriculture development, and small and medium enterprises development. The ceremony witnessed the disbursement of operational grants between 100,000 naira and 350,000 naira for micro and small enterprises, with 2,832 benefiting from the second phase of the 1 billion naira COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Initiative across the 20 local government areas of the state.
We provide salaries for labor-intensive public workers and also the Ogun State Community and Social Development Agencies. Result Area 2 is focused on agriculture, and it emphasizes support in scaling up the interventions that help our farmers increase food production by the provision of improved seeds, fertilizers, and facilitating the smooth functioning of their food supply chain. The third result area, the purpose of which we're here today, is to facilitate the recovery and enhancing the capabilities of our micro, small and medium enterprises by incentivizing employment retention and job creation.
The State Deputy Governor, Naimot Salako Oyedele, who represents Governor Dapo Abiodun, says the initiative is part of the social contract with the business owners.
As part of our strategic, inclusive and methodical approach, our administration has ensured that this disbursement will be to genuine entrepreneurs who have been identified and nominated by key stakeholders in the state, such as chairmen of local governments, market women and men associations, community development councils, cooperative societies, organized private sector, business membership organizations such as NASI, Asbon Ogusima, National Youth Council of Nigeria, Nigerian Artisans Association, and the Ogun State chapter of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability.
Some of the beneficiaries and leaders of association who could not hide their enthusiasm commended the state government for the gesture.
Many of our members across the 20 local governments in Ogun State are already testifying that they received the sum of 100,000 naira each.
Sure, as a owner of a small-scale business, this money will go a long way increasing or expanding my business.
There's a symbolic presentation of checks to some of the beneficiaries by the State Deputy Governor, joined by other dignitaries present.
Welcome back. Let's bring you more on Children's Day celebration. The Lagos State government has again assured of its commitment to provide enabling school environment for teaching and learning. The State Deputy Governor, Kadri Hamzat, made this comment at the 2024 Children's Day celebration, where he gave assurance of school safety with installation of CCTV cameras in all public schools in the state. It says that 9 new schools have been built at remote areas for pupils to have access to education. And the Project Zero program has also helped 11,957 children return to school.
We know how important early childhood education is for your future, and our goal is to make sure that every child in Lagos State gets the chance to learn and grow. To help more children go to school, we have added 9 new schools in very busy and remote areas of our state. These new schools now have 4,588 students, with 2,310 being girls and 2,278 boys. We have also improved many existing schools by way of rehabilitation, completing over 1,500 classrooms and other accessories, which include building renovation and, of course, furniture provision. Through the Project Zero program, we have helped 11,957 children who are out of school get back to their studies with all the supplies that they will ever need. Our new digital situation room is helping us to keep track of all our schools. It allows us to automate all processes and allow every stakeholder to check status of issues such as attendance, teacher-student interaction, and other indices that allow us to continually rejig and enhance the quality of education that we provide for our students.
And joining us now on the program is Dr. Adetola Salau, an education specialist who served as the SSA Education in Lagos State and is now the special advisor to the governor of Kwara State on education policy formation and, of course, human capital development. She joins us via Zoom from Ilori, the Kwara State capital. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is the first time that Children's Day celebration under the Tinubu administration is happening. I mean, what would you say has stood out for you with regards to government education policies?
Wow, quite a bit. I see more trust on policy, and I see a lot more about engagement from the grassroots. So that's a welcome development.
Oh, let's break it down to regions now, where we want to just look at the Southwest, since that's what we're talking about in the program today. We see a lot of students excelling and making Nigeria proud. Is that enough, or do we need to do more to be where we need to be?
Well, I mean, I served in the Southwest, so I can speak for the Southwest, but I'm actually now in the North Central. But let me speak about the Southwest, because like I said, I have served in the Southwest before. I have to say, there still needs to be a lot more done. Anyone who is firmly entrenched in the educational sector will tell you there's so much we need to do, particularly when it comes to our teachers. Because like I always say, you know, it's a tripod approach with education. You have the teachers, who are the ones who, of course, facilitate knowledge to the students. Then you have the students, who are the recipients, the end users, the clients per se. And of course, you have their parents. So when we come to that tripod approach, those teachers who are the ones giving out knowledge, there's so much that we need to give to them so that they can give their best. And one of the emphases I always like to make is teacher welfare. Anytime I go to speak anywhere, I like to emphasize how important it is for us to take care of our teachers. It's really, really key, because I tell everyone, not everyone, hopefully, goes to see a doctor in their lifetime. I said hopefully, but everyone, I don't care what station of life you are, you will have at least one or a couple of teachers in your lifetime, and you will always remember those teachers. So teachers are an integral part of society. So it's really important that we touch our teachers. And of course, you mentioned the students that are doing really great work. But don't forget that those are the ones that, of course, we celebrate and we see. We also have other students who have various strengths. We should also celebrate them and encourage them and build on those strengths, because they are all the people who are going to make up what we call society as a whole.
All right. So you being in the North Central region, I know you have experienced maybe a difference with when you served in the southwestern part. What difference have you seen, and what do you think can be done better in that region?
I see. In fact, that's one of the things that we're going to be emphasizing. I'm right now going to be meeting with the Association of Professional Women Engineers. And one of the things we're emphasizing this year is, of course, we're focusing on how we're going to build more of our girl children, particularly to also show them the advantages, the benefits and what STEM careers will do for them. So what I see in this part of the world is more of us encouraging and building these girls so that more of them can go to school, number one. We need more of them going to school. Then we need more of them realizing that there's so many opportunities for them. I just recently, yes, it was in February celebrated the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. And I was quite dismayed when a couple of the girls were asking me if it's okay for girls to be medical doctors or surgeons. We shouldn't be having those kind of conversations in 2024. Those should be foregone conclusions already. So that's a difference that I'm seeing. And that's something that I need for us to do a lot more work on. And in this administration that I'm in, here in Kwara, that's something that we're working on. In fact, you're going to be getting a lot more announcements as June is rolling out about work we're going to be doing with our adolescent girls, more work on the girl child, more work on building them, more work on building their digital literacy skills. A lot of work coming up.
All right, well done for all you do, and we wish you the very best. Dr. Adetola Salau, education specialist and governor, the special advisor to the governor of Kwara State on education, policy formation, and human capital development. Thanks a lot for your time and your contribution on Newsroom series.
Thank you.
To other stories, we get back here in Lagos State, where the government has inaugurated the last mile meat shops and Butchers Academy just to help overhaul the process of selling red meat, thereby maintaining proper hygiene in the metropolis. This initiative was unveiled by the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Abisola Olusoya, in Alausa, Ikeja.
The 20-foot container Eco Meat Shop is the latest initiative launched by the Lagos State government to revamp the process of selling red meat to residents.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
The initiative, known as Last Mile Meat Shop, is being inaugurated alongside the Lagos State Government Butchers Academy through the State Ministry of Agriculture to ensure the sale of red meat in a hygiene environment.
This project is not just about product presentation. We're also looking at issues around youth involvement or engagement in the red meat value chain. Our butchers, traditional butchers, are aging. And so there is an urgent need for us to recruit young men and women to come into this space and take up the opportunities that abound in the distribution and marketing of red meat.
We know that when we sell in kilogram or by weight, it becomes uniform rather than when we haggle and we're not even sure of what size we're haggling on. It also gives us an opportunity to have the different parts being sold differently, which gives value for the cattle and for the butcher.
The chairman, House Committee on Agriculture, appeals to youths employed at the meat shops not to drop the ball in their duties.
What the ministry is doing is very good because they are trying to at least bring the meat shop very close to our people. But the only advice that we have for the new butchers is they have to ensure that they follow the established quality procedures.
Lagos Butchers Association expressed gratitude for the project.
Big thanks to our governor, the Action Governor of Lagos State, for looking at this kind of project. Is an innovation to the butchers to move from the conventional way of selling meat to an orthodox side like this.
The butchers are encouraged to visit the academy regularly to gain more knowledge on how to run their business.
From now on, trained butchers will be coming regularly to the butchery shop, butchery academy, to learn how to properly dissect and then prepare meat products.
For the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Abisola Olusoya, the initiative is part of the 5-year agricultural roadmap flagged off in 2021 to ensure residents consume healthy and wholesome products.
We see how meat is largely sold in our markets. We don't appreciate it. We've tried to talk to the butchers to see how they can revamp and, change the way and manner in which meat is displayed, meat is sold. And we felt that another way of enticing our youth to come into this would be to have facilities that showcase some level of ingenuity. Facilities that, when they see this, they are proud to be part owners of this. And we felt that a way to also push for them to imbibe this and take it as their own is to go this route.
Last mile meat shops are located in Ije area of Dolphin Estate, Surulere and Mushi. The Lagos State government appeals to residents to embrace the red meat innovation shops, which will be spread across all the local government areas.
And that's where we'll draw the curtains on this edition of a Newsroom series from the Southwestern region. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu.